Welcome to Ping 24 Updates. Subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for more updates. Manila, Philippines. Tensions are rising in the South China Sea as the Philippine Navy investigates suspected Chinese underwater activity at Bajo de Masinloc, or Scarborough Shoal. This vital fishing ground lies within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, but now, mysterious structures have been detected on the seabed. The conflict has shifted from surface skirmishes to secretive underwater operations. The stakes are enormous, not just for the Philippines but for the entire region. The Philippine government is demanding answers, suspecting a long-term strategy by Beijing to cement its control. Every patrol in the area is fraught with risk, as Philippine vessels face constant harassment from Chinese ships. For Manila, the prospect of underwater military installations so close to its shores is a nightmare scenario. This could transform a traditional fishing ground into a forward base for a foreign power. The world is watching how the Philippines will respond to this silent, creeping threat. The livelihoods of Filipino fisherfolk and the stability of a critical global waterway hang in the balance. The mystery beneath Bajo de Masinloc is more than a local issue, it's a warning about the future of maritime security. The quiet depths of the West Philippine Sea have become the new front line in a struggle for control. What lies beneath could redefine the region's security landscape. The Philippines faces a direct challenge to its sovereignty and security. The international order is being tested in these contested waters. The next move could change the course of history in the South China Sea. The Philippine Navy's mission confirmed the existence and purpose of these underwater structures. This isn't a simple surface patrol. It requires sonar mapping, remotely operated vehicles, and expert divers. Chinese vessels shadow and obstruct every move, making the operation a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. Secrecy is crucial. Revealing details could allow China to cover its tracks. Naval assets are deployed, pushing their underwater survey capabilities to the limit. Crews are on edge, facing a new kind of threat that demands investigative skills as much as seamanship. The initial tip-off came from Filipino fishermen, whose local knowledge was backed by international surveillance data. All signs point to a deliberate effort to alter the shoal's underwater landscape. The government can't ignore the threat. Turning suspicion into hard evidence is now the Navy's top priority. This mission is a direct response to years of escalating Chinese aggression, from swarming vessels to coral reef destruction. Permanent underwater installations would mark a dangerous escalation, moving from presence to permanence. The Philippines must act before the seabed is irreversibly changed. The outcome of this probe could set a precedent for how nations confront covert underwater expansion. The world is watching for proof, and for a response. The future of Bajo de Masinloc and the region hangs in the balance. The race to uncover the truth beneath the waves is on. The West Philippine Sea conflict has entered a shadowy new phase. Once the world saw dramatic surface confrontations, water cannons, ramming, and floating barriers. Now the battleground has shifted to the silent depths, where underwater structures can't be easily seen or removed. This is a strategic shift by Beijing expand control while avoiding overt clashes that draw global outrage. Underwater installations are harder to detect, harder to challenge, and potentially more dangerous. The Philippines and its allies now face a new challenge, countering threats they can't see. Advanced undersea surveillance is needed, but it's costly and complex. The stakes are high. An underwater base could monitor submarines, launch drones, or serve as a foundation for future island building. Each possibility threatens Philippine security and regional stability. The conflict is no longer just about fishing rights, it's about the security architecture of Southeast Asia. The Philippines must adapt quickly to this new form of maritime contest. The enigma on the seabed has changed the rules of engagement. The world must now reckon with a conflict waged in the shadows. The next phase of this standoff will be fought below the surface. The Philippines is racing to keep up with a rapidly evolving threat. The outcome will shape the future of the region. The underwater chess game has only just begun. Bajo de Masinloc is more than a disputed reef. It's a strategic and economic lifeline for the Philippines. Its location guards the approaches to Luzon and Manila, making any foreign military presence a direct threat to the nation's core. For generations, Filipino fishermen have relied on its rich waters for their livelihoods. China's blockade has devastated coastal communities, cutting off access to vital resources. The shoal is woven into the Philippines' maritime identity and history. The fight to reclaim it is about preserving heritage and defending sovereignty. China's underwater activities threaten both national security and economic survival. The government's urgency reflects what's at stake: stability, prosperity, and the soul of a maritime nation. Allowing secret structures on the seabed would be a catastrophic failure. The future of the shoal will shape the fate of countless Filipino families. At the heart of this conflict is a clash between international law and raw power. In 2013, the Philippines challenged China's sweeping claims at an international tribunal under UNCLOS. The 2016 ruling was a landmark victory. China's 9-dash line was declared baseless, and Bajo de Masinloc affirmed as part of the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. But Beijing rejected the ruling, calling it waste paper and doubling down on its presence. China continues to block Filipino fishermen and is now suspected of building secret structures underwater. The contrast is stark: a legal victory on paper but a reality shaped by force. The 2016 award is a powerful tool for the Philippines, but it's only as strong as the will to enforce it. China is betting its might will outweigh any legal document. This standoff is a test for UNCLOS and the rules-based order. If powerful nations can ignore international law with impunity, global stability is at risk. The Philippines' struggle is about more than territory. It's about the future of international norms. The world is watching to see if law or power will prevail. The outcome will echo far beyond the South China Sea. The stakes are nothing less than the credibility of the global order. The Philippines stands at the front line of this test. The next chapter will determine if justice or might shapes the seas. Suspicions of underwater construction at Bajo de Masinloc fit a familiar pattern in the South China Sea. China's island building in the Spratlys turned reefs into military outposts, complete with airfields and missile shelters. The playbook starts small: temporary shelters, then gradual expansion. Each step is incremental, avoiding a dramatic trigger for international backlash. Past warnings about Scarborough Shoal led to global pressure, but now China may be using subtler, underwater tactics. The transformation of reefs into fortified bases shows Beijing's long-term ambitions. Manila fears Bajo de Masinloc is next. The current probe aims to stop this process before another reef is lost. China's tactics at Bajo de Masinloc have grown more aggressive and sophisticated. Maritime militia swarms, ostensibly fishing boats, intimidate and blockade Filipino vessels. Floating barriers physically block access, while marine nature reserve designations create a legal pretext for control. Each move tightens China's grip, normalizing its presence and erasing Philippine rights. The installation of underwater structures is the next step in this escalation. It's a comprehensive campaign: surface, law, and now seabed. The goal is permanent dominance, not just temporary control. The Philippines faces a coordinated strategy to rewrite the status quo. China's actions in the West Philippine Sea come at a staggering cost. Massive dredging and construction have destroyed thousands of hectares of coral reefs, crippling marine biodiversity. Filipino scientists estimate $33 billion in annual economic losses from lost ecological services. At Bajo de Masinloc, destructive fishing and pollution continue to devastate the ecosystem. The supposed marine reserve is a cover for the very activities destroying it. Filipino fishermen have lost access to their most productive grounds, with incomes plummeting. The government spends heavily on defense and diplomacy just to maintain a presence. Instability deters investment and disrupts trade. The price of aggression is paid by families, communities, and the nation as a whole. The fight for the shoal is about survival: economic, environmental, and national. The Philippines is not alone in this fight. Its alliance with the United States has been revitalized, with expanded military exercises and access agreements. Partnerships with Australia, Japan, and other nations have brought new patrols, equipment, and diplomatic support. The G7, EU, and ASEAN have voiced support for the 2016 ruling and a rules-based order. Locally, the government is modernizing its military and boosting maritime surveillance. Civilian groups and journalists are shining a spotlight on China's tactics, rallying public and international opinion. The discovery of underwater structures has galvanized collective action. The world is watching, and the message is clear: silent invasions will not go unchallenged. The struggle for Bajo de Masinloc is a global test of law versus coercion. The stakes could not be higher for the Philippines and for the world.